The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome all to another wonderful day at the headquarters for technical trading and investing. That is TFNN.com. And we're going to have a kind of interesting day out here. And I'm going to probably tweak some people's ears here in the next few minutes. If you can't stand a opposite opinion of what you believe in, then maybe this show isn't for you. Maybe you can't, maybe your argument is so weak that you can't afford to have anybody have any opinion other than the standard opinion. Yeah, that's what worked in Russia for a long time. Yep. Off to the gulags, political re-education camps with you if you don't agree with us. I always thought that the Enlightened Party was one of free speech. Anyway, on October 1st, on this day in 1890, an act of Congress creates Yosemite National Park. And I guess we got to Yosemite Sam from that, didn't we? Would we have a Yosemite Sam cartoon if we didn't have a Yosemite National Park? Anyway, home of such natural wonders as the Half Dome and the giant sequoia trees. John Muir and his colleagues campaigned for the congressional action, which was signed into law by President Benjamin Harrison and paved the way for generations of hikers, campers, and nature lovers to be eaten by bears. I added the by bears part. So, what am I going to tweak, everybody? Well, I'm going to get into it a little bit, but last night there was some news that I was actually working on, and all of a sudden it popped up when I was about a fourth of the way done. And I thought, well, this is important, and I quickly IM'd Tom because I thought it was probably the most, after what I'd listened and had to endure yesterday as so-called news, wanted to get to Tom. And I'm going to get to that here. But first of all, I'm going to do this one. It's Obamacare Day 1, and of course, no surprise, nothing's quite working right. And normally, you can bypass this. They've had 3 years to get it correct. Most people are going to wonder why none of it works. And the answer's fairly good. Instead of calling up IBM or Amazon and saying, hey, we need to set up this whole system for healthcare, let's go to people who really know about it, and that is my political cronies. Of course, huge amounts of money was sent and pushed off to those folks instead of the people that actually design websites. Not a big surprise out here that the government could find a way to take 3 years and then when the curtain came up, not be that. But even the president said today it's going to take another 3 months before the glitches are worked out of a website that we had 3 years to prepare for. What a surprise. Anyway, what I'm mad about and not going to take it anymore is John Harwood, a.k.a. Gasbag now for me. He's always been the political reporter on CNBC, and in the last 2 days has lost all pretense of any kind of objective journalism, and I'm going to get into why. Are you allowed to, but to tell you the truth, it may be the hardest job in the world to be a political journalist in Washington, D.C. It has every level of corruption out there, and I'm going to get into why. But if you don't write the right article, are you going to be allowed access to the subjects you need? If you say something wrong about the president, are you ever going to be able to get an interview? And well, maybe your job depends on getting interviews from the president. Maybe if you're an anchor of the big 3 or 4. Are you shut out? Will they even let you in? Do they revoke your press pass? Are you not allowed in the press pool anymore? Will you be invited to the big parties? Will you be part of the in crowd? Do you just sell out eventually? I know it's got to be tiring to probably have ask a question of the president that he doesn't want, or the White House, whether any political party it is. Maybe you're just plain lazy. But I'm going to get into the firehouse effect and why it is important to what we're doing in trading. And I'm going to get into that in just a second. But what I really wanted to bring out was that, of course, John Harwood was basically taking a talking points list and just regurgitating it without any kind of backing up by actual facts. And, of course, a real sign of a lazy reporter, especially in politics, is just to regurgitate whatever the one party gives you. And, of course, part of it was just how bad it was going to hurt one party over the other. When you actually have decent studies and articles that say otherwise. The other part was that he was pumping, I'll go back to this in just a second, he was pumping just how horrible and the markets would fall apart and we're going to be down 15 or 20%. It's going to ruin this party. They just don't know what they're doing. It just was wholly out of the pale for a political reporter to become such a monstrous homer. And when I saw, it was about probably 3:10, an article on every shutdown, I said, okay, here's the dates. I'll be able to go back to the S&P and figure out just how much shutdowns actually affected the marketplace and how much of this is just pure propaganda. Well, before I could even get about a quarter of the way started, out comes an article from, what was it? Business Insider that has all of them, and they've already done the charts. So maybe this guy saw the same thing I did, which is all the dates, and just said, we'll just sit down and do the do the math and find out what really did happen about government shutdowns. Are they really, is the world come to an end out here? And the answer is that if you put all of them, all 17, this isn't a new phenomenon. It didn't just happen in 1995. In fact, President Reagan had to go through with a Democratic House and Senate, 7 of them, 8 of them? And, of course, it's been able to be turned into a political football. So truth is normally the first thing. But what we find out is after all the shutdowns, on average, not a big deal. I went through the charts, actually, when these were shutting down, and did it really even change the direction of the market? And the answer was maybe you had a small move or a couple of moves, but for the most part, it looked like the market was going to do the exact same thing it did before the shutdown as it did after the shutdown. So all the gloom and doom that a political reporter is out there saying, trying to convince the world that if you just gave up, then everything is going to be okay. Pretty rare. But I wanted to get back to the firehouse effect because there are two things, and this is just how easy it is to get around a few people with the exact same opinions and have them reinforce themselves. It's called the firehouse effect, and it posits that firemen with a lot of idle time between calls often sit around and talk with each other because they are like-minded in certain respects. They're all firemen, and because they only discuss a limited amount of topics, over time they cease questioning each other and often converge on conclusions that are outside an observer would find illogical or ridiculous. You wonder, how Germany descended in such darkness and bleakness and hate and killing everybody in the Second World War, finding out that everybody that's a Jew needs to be killed. When you really get into it, you find out that the more and more that opinions can converge, probably the more and more the sick they get, and probably a lot farther away from reality. Unfortunately, anytime you get a big group of people together, especially politicians, the chances of getting any kind of meaningful reporting out of these folks becomes smaller and smaller because all their opinions converge and they come to the same conclusion, and invariably it is wrong. Now, when we're traders out here, are we all corrupted by the same powers that reporters are? pressures to succeed, pressures to be liked, pressures to be invited to parties. The only pressure we're really under is making money. And unfortunately, we have, and some people go to, well, CNBC or Bloomberg, or now Fox has their own business station. And the question is, can we even afford, or can people even accept an optional opinion? And probably the worst part is that, at least the way I'm looking at it, is that if it was just politics, that's fine. But when we go to a business news channel and we get a political advice, boy, it's going to probably cost us money if it isn't good. I'm familiar with people like Kramer, who's going to tell everybody that they should be buying huge amounts of BlackBerry at 16. When I said he either was stupid or a liar, I suspected he was a liar, trying to help other people get out of their BlackBerry, his friends on the street. But the question is, really, does this do us any good to get involved? We know that people will spew whatever they want to spew, especially politically, to reinforce what they believe. What I do know is that the data tells me that actually this shutdown has absolutely nothing to do with the direction of the market long term, and for the most part, even short term. That we get political advice on the business networks. I'm wondering just what the value is. To tell you the truth, a little hurt, because kind of like the guy, thought that for the most part his reporting was fairly good. But it's easy to be lazy and not be skeptical over just about everything that we hear on infotainment TV these days. What else was? Anyway, I'm going to get to the ISM Manufacturing Index. The PMI was down, was at 56.2% in September, up from 55.7 in August. The employment index was at 55.4, up from 53.3. The new orders in the index was at 60.5, down from 63.2% in August. What else do we have? Burlington stores. We got a lot of IPOs coming up in the next few days. What else we got going on here? I think there are 9 new IPOs, so we're going to go through those fairly quickly. Burlington stores, BURL, the national off-price retailer, operating the Burlington Coat Factory, plans to raise $200 million. Shares are going to be priced between 14 and 16. BURL. The next couple of days, that's supposed to roll out. We've got 8 more to get to, so we'll be right back to those.
Andy Hecht, the host of the Commodities Hour, recently launched his newsletter service, the Technomental Commodity Report, and only 6 weeks in, Andy has already recorded a triple-digit winner. Andy advised his subscribers to purchase a long-term call option at 46 cents on July 11th, and then sent out a special update Friday, August 16th, advising his subscribers to close that position at $1.40. That's a 204% profit in just 5 weeks. The Technomental Commodity Report by Andy Hecht is released each Thursday morning, and right now you can get a month-long free trial to this subscription while locking in the low introductory rate of only $39 a month. Andy Hecht has been a commodities trader for over 3 decades. Let his experience work for you. Sign up for your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report today at TFNN.com.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on U.S. Treasuries, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different futures contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a 2-week free trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com. McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces. And over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a 3-fold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And as we come back, we've got a lot of IPOs this week. We've got fund buying that runs for the next 2 days. Of course, if we would have listened to some people, we would have been short all day long because we just would have known that this market had to go down because that's what the political talking points said. I much rather trust in charts and probably ignore a little of that. But we do have fund buying today, and I'm going to be, the next couple of days out here. Am I saying that this is going to change the market direction? No. I think we're going to probably solve the political issues. We're probably going to bounce, and if the volume is very light, it's going to be time to short. And if the bounce comes on a lot of volume, then I suspect we're probably going to break out and go higher. So I think this is a great time to be sitting on the sidelines and wait and not anticipate the market moves. Again, like I said, for the next 2 days, we're going to have fund buying coming in. I think that a lot of people wanted to wait and see what happened over the last couple of days before they jumped in, and we've seen that today. Actually, decent volume today. Or at least better volume. We're a little over 2 billion shares, much better than yesterday. So we did have a lighter volume coming into yesterday. I'm not really surprised of getting a little bounce out of here today, especially now that we know that there's probably no real bias for the shutdown of the government and the even medium-term direction. If you look at the charts in absence of the rest, just not a whole lot there. We are up 9 points on the S&P cash. We left with the Burlington stores. Again, we've got a lot of IPOs this week, a couple of big ones, which makes me think that the Wall Street still thinks that they got to kick these things out, and there isn't going to be so much volatility as to make people pull these IPOs. Cherry Hill Mortgage Investment going to be coming out, I think, on Thursday. CHMI, a mortgage REIT investing in excess MSRs, agency RMBSs, and prime jumbo mortgage loans. Plans to raise $130 million by offering 6.5 million shares at a price of $20. Empire State Realty Trust, another one. Symbol is going to be ESRT, operates 18 commercial properties in Midtown Manhattan and Greater New York. Plans to raise $1 billion by offering 71.5 million shares at a price range of 13 to 15. That's the midpoint of their proposed range. The Empire State Realty Trust would command a market value of $3.4 billion. Fate Therapeutics, which is already at the low end of its revised range, an early clinical stage biotech developing stem cell treatments for orphan diseases, plans to raise $60 million by offering 4 million shares at somewhere between 14 to 16. Again, already down to $6. So wonder if this thing is actually even going to get out the door. Intercloud System, ICLD, provides telecom infrastructure, staffing, and management services. Plans to raise $20 million. Again, these tiny ones, I'm wondering if they even get out the door. ICLD is going to be it. OCI Partners is the largest merchant methanol producers. I think everybody remembers, what is it, PEI? I think it's PEI. In the U.S., plans to raise $350 million by offering 17.5 million shares at a price range of 19 to 21. I'm wondering just if anybody even wants to get back in methanol. I remember Pacific. Is it even still around, Pacific Ethanol? I thought it was PEI. I'll check during the break. Potbelly operates antique sandwich shops in the United States. Plans to raise $75 million by offering 7.5 million shares at a price range of $9 to $11. Symbol's going to be a PB. That should be pretty easy. I don't know about going into a place called Potbelly. It makes me feel fat. But maybe someone's been in there. Maybe they can call, tell me what this place is actually like. I don't think there are any around here. Remax Holdings, this is one of the ones they really want to push out this week's RMAX, leading franchisor of residential real estate brokerages in the U.S. and Canada, plans to raise $200 million by offering 10 million shares, a price range of 19 to 21 bucks. Tecogen, TGEN, sells and services commercial natural gas-powered cogeneration systems, plans to raise $20 million. Again, a lot of these things, $20 million, you can go to the bank and ask for that. I'm just wondering why these guys are trying to just dip their toe in here when you know they're going to have to come back and sell a lot more in these markets. 3 million shares at a price range between $550 and $750. Anyway, we're going to be back in just a minute. We're going to be talking about The Godfather when we come back.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Well, that's what Carl Icahn had to say to Tim Cook last night at a dinner. The Godfather, Carl Icahn, was out there today pimping Apple once again on noon on CNBC. He wants Tim Cook to issue a $150 billion buyback of its stock by borrowing all the money. By doing that, they wouldn't have to pay taxes in the United States, and they'd only have to pay maybe 2% or something for the loan. And it would be a way to flush all that cash back to investors without having to pay any of those pesky taxes by repatriating all that money. If they brought it back into the United States, 35% of that would go to money heaven, i.e. the government. And, of course, everybody, it's kind of like everybody's saying they want to go to heaven, just not now. Everybody in Silicon Valley says, well, you better pay your taxes, but none of them will. And that's exactly what's happening. And, of course, they've got that $150 billion. It's mostly overseas. And, of course, there's not a chance in the world they're going to bring it back. So the question is whether it makes sense to go out and borrow money at 2% so that you don't have to pay taxes, avoiding 35% to bring it back in the United States, and whether or not you want to spend all your cash now to prop up a stock. Carl said that he would be meeting with Tim Cook again in about 30 days, 3 weeks, 30 days, something like that, and go back and see if they couldn't engineer this. Again, we talked about it yesterday. Tim Cook has a deal, and that deal is if he can keep the stock up for the next 5 years, probably going to make about $500 million. And so I don't think he's interested in getting too wild out there. He wants the 5-year mark and the 10-year mark under his belt to make a huge amount of money. I think it will be, if he goes to the 10-year mark, I think it's $1.5 billion. And the first hurdle is at 5 years, which will give him $500 million in stock. So the question is just how far he wants to go. I suspect that he wants the stock to peak in about 5 years. Carl Icahn probably in about 5 months. And the question is whether their interests are aligned. And maybe he does this $150 billion buyback for the next 5 years. The question is, will Carl be happy with that, or will he do and throw him a Michael Dell? I think we're going to almost make that a verb out here, but going to be interesting. But quickly becoming the godfather of Wall Street, Carl Icahn. General Motors says its September sales dropped 11% from a year ago. Even the company's big pickup trucks sales saw declines, with the Chevy Silverado down almost 11% and GMC Sierra off 2%. So all that finally getting a little pullback in the markets. There is a new movie coming out. Went out and saw a pre-release version of it. It's called Gravity. Of course, my history is in making special effects for television in Hollywood. I almost feel like Oppenheimer making the bomb because, of course, he was sorry after he did it. And to a great extent, special effects have become a big thrill ride in lieu of any kind of script writing. I always say that probably they should lop off half of the special effects in almost every one of these big movies that come out of Hollywood now and spend it on actually getting a decent script that makes sense. But it's easier to sell a bunch of investors on a lot of explosions and car chases than actually coming up with anything that makes any sense. There is a movie coming out, and it is well worth the ride. It's all about special effects, but it is all justified. Probably the best space movie probably ever made, certainly as good as 2001, even when it came out in 1969. But if you got a chance, Gravity is going to be coming your way soon. Let's see. Anyway, that's pretty much it. We want to get into charts here fairly quickly. And got a question. Wherever work with Lucas Studios, work with just about everybody. Now, this is kind of like the equivalent of the magazine business, and we sold laser printers. What we did was make video equipment that would record animations and bypass, at the time, traditional VCRs and film image recorders. Basically, we would do it all, and it wouldn't be at film resolutions. We'd do it at video resolutions. They'd get everything looking exactly the way they wanted, all layered up. They'd use sometimes as many as 10 of our devices ganged up together, each one being another layer in what you would eventually see. My favorite time was working on Apollo 13. And a lot of the ways people did regular animation. My favorite was the stop motion animation on the at Digital Domain. You'll see the ad or the credits at the end of a lot of these movies will say Digital Domain. They had an office down on Venice Beach, and their meeting room was like the inside of a giant well. If you just took a whale and put paper mache all over it out until it was a box shape, and then took the whale out. We met in this giant well shape. Anyway, I didn't spend a lot of time with movie producers or movie stars. Most of the time it was working like on Apollo 13 with a model on a sound stage. And, of course, they'd move the camera, take one shot, move the camera, take one shot. And, some of the film in those cameras, every frame was $3. Oh, that is it. That sounded interesting. Of course, that's a little different. But anyway, just I thought I had up that. Yeah, maybe I closed it here. There it is. I've worked. Who was he asking? Tom Hanks was in that, yes, and I met him. And the first movie I ever worked on where we did this was True Lies. That was Schwarzenegger, and I met him, too, for all of 30 seconds, just like Tom Hanks. So most of these guys I saw, they stood around. In the case of Schwarzenegger, he was in the cockpit of the A-10, or not the A-10. It was in the cockpit of the plane, and that's all there was. Everything else was superimposed around him. And we sat around. I actually talked to him for maybe 10 minutes. But all that was a lot of smoke and mirrors. But interesting nonetheless. I forget what my point was. I'm trying to go back up here to the question. Work with Lucas Studios. Worked with just everybody. In fact, we had, the biggest thing I ever worked on was Titanic. Where we had 40 of my devices with animators on the QE2. They actually rented the whole thing out, had the barge right next to it that was the scale model of the Titanic for all the water scenes where you see the water sloshing up and down the aisles. And I actually sat in the QE2, and they'd run back and forth at night. But just made sure that I really didn't do any of the work except one thing, and that's actually if you watch Apollo 13, there is a scene where the side of it blows out. They sent me up to the Kmart to buy cassette tapes. We actually pulled all the tape out of the cassettes, ran it through a shredder, cross-cut shredder, packed it all in the side of it. So when that thing actually blows, what you're seeing is a bunch of Mylar tape run through a shredder that blows out. And, of course, it was a big cleanup. The guys really cursed at us that had to come out there, and it stuck to everything. But that's actually just Mylar tape blowing across the floor. We're going to get into actual charts here out of my war stories. Of course, we saw, gold off $40. I haven't checked it in the last few minutes, but looked pretty close. Yeah, 37.10 today. And let's see, figure out how I get rid of some of these pictures that are popping up over my charts out here. Okay, what do we have? Anglo Eagle Mines out here. Of course, gold going down. I suspect we're going to blow out these lows and get a washout that is buyable. I'm hoping for $1,200. We may be pretty close to finding a low in gold. We're at $1,290 now. At least would want to get back to $1,275, and hopefully I'd like to see this thing blow down $70 or $100 in one day and just wipe everybody out until they curse that gold was ever invented. Well, it wasn't invented, I guess. Gold was ever thought of. And go back and pick it up there, probably sub $1,200. But I think we're probably going to get one more washout in these gold stocks. AEM getting ready to go down. Look for the test in the next couple of days of this $25 level, and that's going to tell us a lot. 3.5 million shares. Pretty light volume today already, 1.1 million shares. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we see a $50 or $100 move down in gold, that we get the kind of volume to blow out these lows, at least for a day or two, maybe 3, and then they come back into the trading range, at which time it probably be interesting. Amazon hanging out at these highs, watching this very closely to see what is happening. This thing's been bouncing around these highs that happened on July 26, 313.62 on July 26, 8.8 million shares, and it's trying to chew its way through there. But boy, talk about light volume, 1.1 million shares, or 1.5 million shares today, which just doesn't seem much against it. I think they've got earnings coming up real soon. Where is that earnings earnings date? Let's just check that real quick. October 25th. We got a couple in that time range. We're going to get to the next one, which I think we're going to probably see these stocks at least hang up here through those earnings dates. But we'll talk about it more. Aris Group, ARRS is the symbol on this one. It's kind of finding its last high out here, August 13th. Volume 1.4 million to 2 million, and a little doji out here today. I suspect we're probably going to see some movement on those. Atwood Oceanics. Let's see what else we have out here. Let's see what else we have. Seeing not much in that one. Let's take a look at AU real quick. Well, we've got to move back in light volume. It certainly looks like we're going to see these lows tested here in the next few days. 1250 is the next. 1250 probably going to be tested tomorrow, I suspect, in AU. But you'd like to get to these all-time lows that hasn't and weren't tested with high volume, and in this case, it's the August 7th low at $11.62, 7.8 million shares. AUI, another one. This thing's rolling back over. This one was always questionable, as you got at least back into the candles of June 26 in the August 7th low, but the volume increased, which is something you don't want to see. Good indication it would come back. You probably want to be putting an alarm on AUY at somewhere around that 855 level and see how it hits those lows. But this is a lot why I didn't think gold was ready to buy long term. The short term looked fairly good. In a breakout, finally, SciTech Industries, CYT. If you're looking for something that is breaking out, we're going to have to watch the volume here. This thing needs about 1 million shares or more today. CYT is the symbol out here. And we've got a nice consolidation going back into February of this year that this thing's breaking out on today. This is a specialties chemical and materials company focused on developing, manufacturing, and selling value-added products for aerospace and industrial materials and minings. But 600,000 shares with an hour, 20 minutes to go. You need 1 million shares at the end of the day on this. GFI, another one. This thing looks like it's auguring on in. You've got that high volume low. This thing didn't even bounce much before it came back under 9.3 million shares. And of course, you got 3.7 so far today, 5.9 million shares yesterday. Certainly did have that high volume move. And this thing could get a lot uglier out here. I really don't even see any road marks for this, for a GFI. INCY, nothing on that right now. Let's see. Linux International, of course, they build a lot of air conditioning and air handling units. We'll be back in just a second on this, but light volume test.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
Have you subscribed to the Gold Report yet? On Wednesday, August 14th and Thursday, August 15th, Tom O'Brien advised his Gold Report subscribers to close out 6 of their 9 open positions, all winning trades ranging from a 10.69% profit to an incredible 48% profit in just one equity. With the 600th weekly Gold Report issue fast approaching, Tom O'Brien brings an incredible wealth of knowledge and experience to the gold market and the equities within the industry. That's almost 12 years since this powerful newsletter first began. And right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the Gold Report by visiting TFNN.com. Make sure you're a subscriber as this volatile gold market makes its way back into positive territory after declining all the way from $1,900 to under $1,200 an ounce in only 2 years. Get your 30-day free trial today by visiting TFNN.com.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
What's the one thing that pulls people back from the breakthrough that they're moving towards? What's the only thing that really stops people from taking action? You and I both know the answer, and sure, we can come up with the reasons why we're not where we want to be, but the only reason that we don't do more with our life is fear. Or if you're an overachiever, call it stress. Simply put, there's something that happened to us in our past that's holding us back from the life we deserve, yet you and I are okay, we're here. So why should we let our past control our future? Exactly. We shouldn't. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes with TFNN.com, and when it comes to your trading and investing, I can help you overcome your fear of loss. Together, we'll turn weakness into strength with a system I've developed called Mastering Probability. I'll teach you how to make your money work harder for you than you do for it. I'll teach you the tools that provide financial freedom. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com, click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and begin your journey of mastering probability risk-free. It's time to become a pioneer of your future versus a prisoner of your past.
Join Andy Hecht as he teaches you how to make money in commodities. The Commodities Hour, next on TFNN.
And we are coming back. It is kind of an interesting day out here. We've got a few stocks I want to look at before the end of the show. What do we have? Bankrate.com. This one certainly had a high volume spike and up against a long-term gap. It is up there with a very light volume today. What I'm looking at is the July 30th high at $19.75, 3.9 million shares, and we're into this the last couple of days with 348,000 shares, 462,000 shares today. Certainly going to come into that spike on light volume. And, when we're looking at some of the others in the housing sector, this thing is basically now back up, filling the huge gap down that it had with 4.5 million shares back on the 2nd of May 2012. So this thing's taken forever to get back up here on this level. Restoration Hardware is another one, looking not so good. This thing came off with a lot of volume on the June 14th. Jumped up with 3.1 million shares. This thing was coming back, and for the most part, you had just one big day down here with a huge volume. That was on the 11th of September. And the volume had kind of slowed down. I thought maybe this thing is going to bottom out here at the $60 level. It got into it today and lots of volume, unfortunately. It looks to me like the volume is going to be even greater than that gap up we saw. Probably going to find at least some modicum of support out here in restoration hardware. Let's see, what else do we have in this thing? I wanted to get to before the end of the day. SLW. I know a lot of people are interested in this. Very interesting stock out here. You'd think that you'd probably be getting a lot more movement in the silver stocks. Of course, silver off 45 cents today, 21.24. But not silver wheat not looking all that bad. Or could, let me put it this way, probably thought it would look worse out here. This thing is banging along the support level in a gap that started on the 8th, what was that, August 12th. And going to be kind of interesting out here. Just not seeing a lot of energy. Again, I suspect we're probably going to see a big gap down in gold over the next few days, and this is going to break the back of a lot of these stocks for maybe a few days before they come back into the trading range. And at that point, probably a good time to buy. You're going to get everybody saying it's the end of gold, it's over, wailing and gnashing of teeth. And, of course, as they said, the time to buy is when there's blood in the streets. And I think we're getting very close to that on gold and silver. I'm probably looking more at gold than silver out here. But we're probably going to have an entire hour to get to it. And what can you say? It's going to be very interesting because Andy Heck is going to be coming on in just a second. He'll have a long time. Restoration hardware. To tell you the truth, I thought the volume should really have shrunk today. Had somebody asking in gold. I have a feeling that another question is SLW. I have a feeling that we're probably going to get a test of these lows in the stock. 2075 is the last major low out here, August 7th. And I'd really love to see that tested out here and probably broken, maybe down to $20 or something, and really everybody getting out of it. And at that point, we'll like it. Anyway, we had a good show today. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Went through a lot of charts today. Got a lot of IPOs coming out here. I'm not expecting this market to roll over in the next few days. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Are you ready to ride the next bull market wave? Catch the Chapman Wave. Using the Chapman Wave methodology, Basil's very comprehensive daily newsletter, The Opening Call, gives the short, intermediate, and long-term analysis for the key indexes. In his Trader's Corner, he gives a brief market summary and expectation for the day with possible trades, both long and short, which are reviewed daily. A position. Subscribers sold recently for plus 42% on parts and plus 64% on rest. And Hertz Global has a core position for 6 months. A current position entered as a turnaround company is trading over 100% of its entry point as a portion sold earlier for a plus 21% gain. Subscribers to the Opening Call see the Chapman Wave techniques demonstrated and explained daily to also educate investors. Now you can get a free 2-week trial. Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.